Hey, welcome to Guitar Knobs, the guitars, gear, noise, and nonsense podcast, hosted today by these knobs.
Tony Dudzik, a.k.a. Pick Guardian.
Jared Brandon Wong Pickups.
Hey, it's me, Todd Novak. Pleased to have you. That's weird. I don't know why I said that. Happy to have you here.
I'm also pleased.
Yes, you're pleased, but we're very pleased to have on the line with us. That's you. Say your name.
Sean Wright from Lollygagger FX.
That's right. Sean Wright from Lollygagger FX is with us today. In fairness, I did not prompt him well enough for that.
I didn't know where my lead in is on that. Sorry about that.
No, that's a fun part for us, you know.
What's my line? What's my line?
Line!
So yes, Sean is a builder of a very familiar looking pedal to most of us. You've probably seen it online on Instagram or in various demos. He's known for the figured maple box that is smoking hot to look at and even better to listen to. So we wanted to find out what is behind that actual box, not the electronics, but the man himself. So Sean's with us today, and we're gonna have a good time. So hey, if you dig what we're doing here on the Guitar Knobs, you can show your support by becoming a patron at patreon.com. And for less than a cost of a handful of guitar picks of your favorite sort, or one really, really thick lucite pick, you can help keep this podcast ad-free. And just think, for the cost of 2 grande cappuccinos or 2 of your favorite microbrew IPAs, you can get one of our super awesome, cool The Guitar Knobs shirts as well. You can support our show at patreon.com/The Guitar Knobs. And we really, really, truly do appreciate you sharing our experience with us and for your continued support. So thank you, everyone.
Yes, thank you.
And with that, we're going to get on with this here dang old show. We have lots to talk about because I know we've all had a very busy week in our music worlds. But before that, I did want to also bring up the point of our Facebook group is just blossoming these days.
A lot of activity.
A lot of activity. And Jared likes it.
I do like it a lot.
We got a note from Eric Bailey, and he was asking us if we wouldn't mind adding a Would You Rather section to the group. I think that's a fantastic idea. So Absolutely. I will retrofit that with some of our previous responses, and we would love to hear you chime in with your response as well, because it's pretty fun. It's fun for us to do it, and I'd love to see some of those responses. So thank you very much, Eric Bailey, for contributing to the experience for everybody. And with that, Big Tony, tell me what you did this week.
This week, well, it was a fun project to do. I just finished it today, and it was a referral from a local repair shop who will go unnamed, and they had put a pair of old, really cool, you'd love these, P90s, soap bar P90s into a 61 SG reissue.
Mm. Oh, okay.
So the guy from the shop calls me and says, "Hey, I've got this guy. We just put these pickups in. They're dog ear pickups."
Oh.
I said,
uh-oh.
"Okay, dog ear? Are you sure?" Yeah, dog ear. I said, "Okay." Now that part is excusable. I'll go into it. And then I said, "So does it have the guard? Was the original guard a bat wing guard?" And to me and most other people, a bat wing guard is the full face.
The full face, yeah.
Right.
SG guard. Yeah, that's what it is.
Uh-oh.
So he sends the customer over with this guitar this morning, and he brings it in. I open the case. I said, "Huh." And sure enough, it's an S61 SG.
Oh, no.
Lower half guard.
No.
The body, he is routed. He did an okay job.
No.
Yeah. So he put these P90s in, and what I think the reason he thought they were dog ear is because there was the little strip
Right.
SGs, they had, many of them had top-mounted height screw holes, so you mounted them to the guard. So that part. So they're in there. The job was okay. I mean,
But
You're probably giving him credit that
it's kind of ruined, right? Is it ruined?
Well, I mean, it's going to be. I mean, it's a cool guitar now, but the way that it looked, I mean, the lower half
They
guard.
routed it?
Well, yeah, they routed it.
No, you just killed the value of a 61.
Reissues.
Oh, it's a 60.
It's a reissue.
Okay.
Yeah. It's
Oh,
not,
man.
yeah.
Gosh, I was
It's not
all
a real
like-
61.
Well, still, I mean, they're over $1,000.
Yeah, this was
You're
a nice.
carving into a guitar that's over $1,000.
So this was a nice one. So what I thought was going to be a relatively easy job, which was, he's got a full face guard. I can just mask off where the pickups are now. And it turned into, oh my God. So the one interesting thing that I found out was the early guards, the switch is in a slightly different space. So when I dropped a batwing guard onto this guitar, it bumped into the switch. So I actually had I had to make this hybrid guard that used the shape of his lower half guard on the bottom and the upper half of another. So it's about a 1/4 inch shorter. So it ended up coming out nicely.
Right.
I've got photos we can take a look at later, or I can post, but it just amazes me how many people don't know the proper terminology, or they think they do and they're wrong.
Right.
A lot of reissues are different than the original. They're not exact.
Like they never are.
Right. They're a Fender custom, which is the 2 wide ranges. Those are different than reissues because do you remember the client, the airline pilot client? We swapped original pickguard to reissue pickguard. We had to route into my reissue body just to get the original one to fit because we were A, B, and pickups.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So the third thing we learned is reissues are not the same as vintage models.
SGs,
Right.
they're the same. Even the 61 reissue pickup, the pickguards are just a little larger on the newer ones.
Yeah, I think that's true.
And that's not even because of the
And
old
less
ones
pointy.
do shrink.
The old ones were pointier too, and I think
Right.
what's happened over the years, they have used templates that have worn out.
Right.
Yeah.
And now the corners have become rounded instead of, a lot of the early 60s ones came to a direct point,
Yeah.
on the horns.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's my week.
If you don't have an original and you only have one or the other, you'll never know.
True.
All right.
So that's my week.
Excellent.
What's going on in your week, Todd?
Well, I don't know. I was just about to ask Sean here because I want to hear from him. Sean, you're next.
I'm next. Actually, I had a really, really busy week. I just got done doing a secret project, basically a private labeled thing for a company, and it was really tough because it was something I hadn't taken on before, and they had approached me. And so I've been dealing with that for the last couple weeks.
Was it Costco?
And then,
Sam's Club.
and then I'm also working on the proto for a new release for pedals. So that's also been kind of fun. Not to mention that the dirty secret that most of us have is that we all have regular jobs. So I'm in a very busy spot at my day gig too. So it's just been kind of hectic, but I'd rather be busy than not. So
Yeah,
I'm not
for sure.
complaining.
There are worse problems to have.
Yes.
Are you able to enlighten us or share any kind of knowledge on the
I can
proto
enlighten
thing?
you on the proto that I'm working on. I cannot enlighten you on the project that I just did.
No problem.
Just other than I did it.
Okay.
Yeah. But the proto for the new release that we're going to have out, it's going to be called the Chameleon, and it's basically an auto wah and a fuzz in the same box. And you will be able to have order switching on it. So you can do the fuzz into the auto wah or the auto wah into the fuzz.
Oh, wow.
And I'm going to have some neat little tricks in there too. So we're hoping for. This thing has been getting pushed back and back and back. I swear it'll be out. But I think looks like late summer, early fall, we're going to finally have this bad boy out. I actually got the board in my hand right now, and I'm stuffing some boards and get it up. But so that's going to be a fun project. And then we're also in the process, and I have to apologize to you, Todd. I did not have enough time to get you a cherry box. I wish I really could have.
That's okay, man.
But we're in the process of rebranding that. So that is going to go into a wood box as well.
Mm.
Yeah, and it's going to be a different design than what we have with the Canaglia.
Okay.
So lots of things going here at Lolly HQ.
Well, I absolutely understand. And we talked last week, and I know that you had a big order to work on. So, hey, we got the Canaglia. I'm saying it right?
You are saying it absolutely right.
Okay, now for those who are listening, well, why do I do that every day? Of course they're listening. That's how they I don't know. Where does that come from?
Well, they could have
For
this
those that
on
are
and
listening.
just not be paying attention.
Yeah, I hope not. For those that maybe aren't as familiar and are beginning to look for it, hopefully not while you're driving, it looks like it is spelled Canaglia, but yes. We'll get into the details of that in just a little bit. I just did want to ask, though, what was maybe the genesis of saying, I think I should build an Ottawa/fuzz?
One thing I've kind of noticed, everyone talks, and I agree, this right now is the golden age for effects pedals.
Oh, man.
Yes. No time in any other time have we've had more, better, unique pedals than we have right now. On the other end of that, it is probably the most saturated market we have right now and probably forever. I must say, my wife is also my business partner, and she is actually responsible for a lot of that beautifulness on those boxes. We decided a while back that I am not, and I was never interested in doing it anyway, but we are not going to take the path of look at our clone. We're not going to take the path of look, another TS808 with really cool diode switching. Mm-hmm. We made the decision that we are going to build unique, or try to build unique pedals that interest us. And I think in the long run, you're going to have people, probably not as much as you would to begin with whoever wants a clone, which there are a lot of great ones out there. But we just don't want to compete with that. And we're not interested as a player. I like unique things. I'm the guy who is at the pawn shop wanting to buy. I'm a fuzzaholic. I wanted to buy the most nastiest broken up fuzzes and take them home. Oh, yeah, really nasty stuff. And we want to make just unique but useful tools for musicians who are looking for something different.
Yeah.
So that's where the idea for the chameleon came from, the exterior look and the vibe of the Canaglia came from, and our first pedal, the cherry box, where that came from too.
Interesting. Well, we have so much to talk about. We just have so much to talk about. Yes, sir. Let's grab a lemonade and sit on the porch.
Coffee talk.
Mint julep.
Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing all that. Jared.
Yo.
What's going on, buddy?
So much. It's like I have to spin the wheel in my head just to pick which new thing is in my Guitar World life, man.
Okay.
Thank you, Tony. Tony spun it. Okay. I got it. So, for some reason...
I'm going to have a lot of fun editing all that.
For some reason, I've been on reverb more and more lately. I really like
guitars are cool and reverb is awesome.
I'm sneaking my product over from eBay onto reverb right now. Mm-hmm. So, anyway, I ran into this. Actually, the idea to get this pedal I saw on Instagram, and I even forgot who posted it. but it's called a Telray Morley oil can. That's the slang term, but it's a Telray Morley rotating sound pedal. And it's
Ridiculous.
It's ridiculously huge. So
it's like a half a block or something, isn't it?
It's ridiculous. Yeah, it's enormous.
Go with this case.
You need a pedal board for your pedal?
Right. You need a whole pedal board for this thing, and that's why I like it. It's humongous and heavy and just
industrial
and awesome.
Will protect you during bar fights.
For those who haven't figured it out there that's listening to this right now, I'm 6'6", and I'm about 320 pounds. I'm a big, giant, fat guy.
You're not fat.
But I'm a little fat and just a little bit of everything,
fat.
man. Just start with a kitchen sink. I'm a big dude, man. So I like big, rugged, good pedals.
Except for guitars.
And tiny little guitars.
Right.
With paper-thin necks.
It is messed up how I complain about heavy guitars.
Yeah, well, no, you got a bad back. It's okay.
Well, yeah.
It's from taking out all the guys out of the bars when you were an MP.
So I got on Reverb and I started looking for these things. And I found a fellow that had one for sale. And he really liked it. And he was real passionate how he described it on his listing. And because of his passion and how he described it and how much he liked it, and he actually had a video that demoed the pedal too.
Did he have an accent?
I don't think so.
I wish he did.
If he did, it probably wasn't as weird as mine.
They're passionate about this oil can effect.
I love it.
I hope it
Oil
goes
is
to a
very oily.
But it's so out there and weird and
Come with me, my friend.
big, heavy, rugged, sharp, industrial. You know, you stub your toe into the thing, you know.
Yeah.
It's a monster.
And it's all polished aluminum.
It's
polished.
chrome.
Chrome.
It's all chrome.
It's all chrome. By polished aluminum,
Black
I
and
mean chrome.
That's right.
With the cool Morley logo.
Yeah.
Well, not
Morley
just
man.
it's huge. It's the old foot, the Morley pedals as his feet.
Right.
But
it's got the creepy guy
giant.
on there. Right.
Well, and isn't that thing like 4 inches tall too?
Yeah.
I mean, not just wide.
Oh, it's bigger than that,
It's
man.
more than it's at
like
least 5 or 6.
I'd say 6 at least.
It's enormous. It's an awesome pedal.
How does it sound?
Well, when I got it,
By awesome, if it sounds like shit, then yes.
when I got it, the guy's had it for so long. I don't know if he knew, but the pedal was reversed. So with the toe down, that was the low and the quiet. It was the low on the wall, the low frequency, and the low volume. And then with the toe up and the heel down, that's all the high and the high volume. I was like, oh, I can get used to this. And then I plugged it in. I'm like, 5 seconds later, I'm like, nope, got to change it over. So that's what I did. I figured out how it worked, and it's got the 2 little sensors in there. And I was pretty impressed to see that.
So it's an optical, right?
It's not a red laser, but it's a light. They're light sensors.
Yeah, so it's optical.
Okay, optical. You're right. And so it took me a while to figure it out, but I figured all that out.
But it's not
myself.
just a wah. It's not just a wah.
Yeah, because it's got the rotating thing too.
Right, but actually the rotation is separate from that.
Okay.
So you can mess with those all day long, and the rotation thing is the same. So I messed with those. I got them right. The rotation works okay. There's a little bit of noise
Kind
there.
of like a Leslie emulator.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's a little noise going on with that right now.
You
but
check
I think
the oil
that's-
level?
It's got a little click. Yeah.
Check
Yeah.
the dipstick.
I haven't
think you
found
need to
the
retire
dipstick
the
yet.
hamster.
Yeah, but it's literally a can inside there.
Yeah.
And if you look at the side, it looks like you could take a screwdriver and pry open the side if you take the can out.
I mean, I'm serious that there's an oil level that has to be in there.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, what would make the oil go away?
Age.
Well, it
thickens
will
up.
end up getting thicker, and then it'll start sticking to the sides of the can.
Yeah. The viscosity.
Those Diamond ones in the late 40s, early 50s.
Yep.
Yeah, those were the same thing. And you're not supposed to open those because there's really, really nasty stuff that's for the human body not to touch. I'm sure it's different than the
He's
Morley.
6'6". It's not going to hurt him.
My skin's different.
You know, the best thing about that pedal, you know, I wasn't a believer, but when we got down close to it, that we were able to talk to the other only guy that has one through it in his treehouse. It was so cool.
I've never seen one before, and I've been playing guitar for like almost 30 years now.
Yeah.
I've never heard of one. I've never seen one. Very rare. But I got to tell you, they're really cool. And if it's in good condition, all there, they're going anywhere from $300 to $800.
Wow. That's a pretty big gap.
It's a big gap, but it's what you're willing to pay for one, because there aren't very many out there. But it's a really cool. The only thing, if I wanted to change something on it, and I'm debating doing that because I really don't want to alter it, but I would love to have a pedal guy mod it so I can actually turn the speed down of the rotation.
So the pedal doesn't affect the rotation?
It doesn't affect the rotation. It only.
It seems like you should be able to, like, that would be a switch to, like, either
Did you
make
try
that
it?
do the
Now,
wah or
you can change the intensity of the rotation of the wah 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 wah, and you can also change the volume of the mix
Not the speed.
goes up, but not the speed.
And you didn't try moving the.
I tried everything.
Okay.
There's no speed effect on that pedal.
you can probably do it with like a rheostat.
That's what I was thinking.
But if you stick a regular pot on there, depending on the voltage, you'll either smoke the pot or it'll be just so damn noisy when you're doing it. But if you did a rheostat, that might actually work out pretty cool.
You know, I've got a really good high quality. It's not a rheostat, but it's kind of like a rheostat, but it's designed to change the speed on industrial equipment, like
That would be
like
pretty close to the same
routers
thing.
and drills, stuff like that. Maybe that'll work.
It'd be cool if you could get a separate pedal to plug into this pedal.
Yeah.
And make it like a speed pedal.
Well, yeah, because to be
I've
quite
got an old
honest,
sewing machine in my grandma's. That would be perfect.
I've got the right thing, but I just don't want to alter this thing to ruin the you know, I don't want to ruin it to where it's not the value's gone.
At bare minimum, Sean, are there any guys out there that could do the oil can refill?
I think I know a guy. He's a little busy right now. He's talking to some guys on a podcast. So I'll have to wait till he's done.
Well, when he gets
I
free,
see.
maybe.
I was like, hey, man, you're bringing up another
I would be
podcast on our show?
I would be happy to at least look at it and
that.
take a look at it, and
Well, you could probably
that
go
would be
over it.
that would
yeah.
be like for a funzie, so it
Yeah,
wouldn't
go
even
over
cost you
it.
anything.
Yeah, go over it all.
Well, you guys can work out some kind of cool bro deal on the side.
Yeah. My I've got an uncle that lives in Traverse City anyway. I should go up there and knock on his door. While
Is
I'm
that
up there.
a euphemism or something? I don't.
No, literally, I should probably go visit him.
I don't know. Snorted.
The last time I was in Traverse City was like 1985, and we went to
Holy, yeah.
yeah, we went to the park, the
That is
Yogi
riveting.
Bear Park.
So listen, what I did this week.
Hey Todd, what
Todd,
did
what
you do
did
this
you
week?
do this week?
Because I know you're gonna cut that out.
I'm leaving this in now. Let's see. Well, I did a whole bunch of things, but I think because you mentioned reverb, and there's a big, enormous case.
Aircraft carrier case.
This thing is huge.
That's a sexy
sitting on the
case,
table.
too.
I put up. Those who have been listening for a while know that I've spoke of the Godin Fifth Avenue Kingpin that I put up for sale. So I had it on reverb. Now, this was a bit of a dilemma because I put it up and there was a guy from Australia. If you're listening, again, I apologize. But as soon as he gave me an offer, I countered and then realized, oh no, this has a redwood fretboard. And I don't have any paperwork for this because I got it used.
Ooh.
And I was like, oh man. And
Redwood? Is it a problem?
not a redwood.
I was going to say.
I've got a sequoia
Redwood forest, right?
laminate top.
Bamboo.
Yes, I have a pine.
Yeah, no, you know what I mean.
Rosewood.
Right, I got a rosewood finger fretboard, and so yeah,
Leave that in, please.
So, anyways, rosewood fretboard, and then I was like, oh crap, what have I done? And so I contacted Reverb and I said, look, here's the situation. They said, yeah, that's going to be a problem. They gave me they gave me a link to the website for the CITE, which is the site for short, which is the rosewood rigmarole that you got to, go through. And it's actually pretty extensive. So we both agreed, myself and Reverb, that we should just decline that offer and, get out of it, which, anybody who's bought stuff, it's like the minute you get the yes, your endorphins, you are the happiest person on the planet.
Yep.
I found it. I got it. It's mine. Here it comes. Take my money. Ah, right. And I had to say, oh, sorry, dude. And I felt really, really bad about that. But I also realized, look, I can't actually make this happen.
Well, the downside is it would be sitting in Australia at customs for
Exactly.
a month.
Yeah,
or
you
two
don't want
or five,
that.
for a year or forever.
Forever.
They'll all pass it around and play it. And
It'll be like that scene in Indiana Jones where they go into the warehouse.
Exactly. Yep. Exactly.
You know it. So anyways, Reverb was super, super helpful, and I truly appreciate their customer service. It was fantastic. They got me out of a jam. And then after that, they said, look, this was obviously a bummer for you. It took you out of the sales stream for a while, because as soon as you say, I'll take that offer, you immediately disappear from the sales boards. And so they reinstated my thing into the sales board, and then gave me a whole bunch of extra boost points. They didn't have to do that, and I appreciate customer service. Thank you, Reverb, for doing that.
Very cool.
So then I immediately, right after that, got an offer for a trade, which I was not expecting to do, because I was ultimately trying to get a Martin
pretty random
DXAE, which is an all composite acoustic. This guy hit me up and he goes, "Hey, will you take a '96 Gibson Explorer?" I'm like, I don't know. But in the back of my head, he's going, "Hell yeah, dude, take it, do it." And I was like, no, I need to sell this thing. And he's like, "You better go get that guitar, dude."
Yep.
Because it's an Explorer, for Pete's sakes.
Yep.
This is like so cool. So now there's a big Explorer sitting on our table right
It's
here.
glorious. And
Good man.
It's very glorious.
It's explorious.
Yes.
It is explorious.
So it's the cream with the white pick guard and the black headstock.
That's the best one.
It is the
tight.
best one.
It's tight. And it's got the case, which this needs to be shipped on an elephant strapped to its back or something. It's huge.
It's too bad, but it's missing the pink satin.
No, it's got it inside.
Oh, is the pink satin in there?
It's all pink
Oh,
satin.
nice.
No. There's a pink
Oh,
satin.
the shroud. Or the shroud.
They call
No,
it a
doesn't have a
shroud.
shroud.
That's called the Victoria's Secret case.
I've got the.
This is the pink inside though, with the brown leather
I've got
case.
the same guitar at home. I got the same big case. I got the shroud, but I'm still envious. You got this guitar the way you did. I mean, you scored big time.
That's. I think it's.
I'm proud of you.
Hang on. So anybody out there who's familiar with either one of these guitars is going like, wait a minute, that is a huge offset. What's wrong with the picture? Which is exactly what I asked. Mm-hmm. Because price-wise, that's a big difference.
Yeah.
However, when you need something, you need something. And when you need to move something, you need to move something. We both just happen to be in the position of each other needing those things to happen quickly. And he was looking for exactly what I had. I wasn't at all looking for this, but I couldn't say no. I was like, yeah, man, let's do it.
You stick it on reverb, it's gone in a week.
We'll see. I think I might keep it and sell some other ones to pay for the Martin, but
sell it to Tony.
But that's the fun of it.
Trade it to Tony.
We're gonna do it. We're gonna do a trade.
That's right, Tony.
Yeah,
Tony needs
BP, the official gas station for Craigslist trading.
That's right.
Anyhow, so that was a fun thing, and I'm gonna have fun playing that for a while.
That's awesome.
I still got to get that out of the guitar though, because we got gigs coming up. So.
Well, you can borrow mine if you want to take that. Just try it out.
Yeah, well, I will. We'll try it. Okay, woo-wee, doggies.
Cool.
It's been fun so far.
That's a busy week. Everybody's busy.
Yeah, and we're all leaving stuff out. I know it.
Oh yeah.
None of it.
Hey, Jared, what time is it?
What time is it?
1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 4 on the floor.
Yep, that's right. It's 4 on the floor time. Sean is going to walk us through his 4 must-have pedals. Now, since he's a pedal builder, he can't say his own pedals.
And I would not cheat and say that.
Plenty of time coming up to hear all about your awesome pedals. So, what do you got?
Well, it's one of the cool things about being a pedal builder and the networking is I am friends with lots of pedal builders. So it always seems to work out that I get a lot of their stuff and vice versa. There's a lot of trading going on that, don't tell anybody, it's a secret. But the 4 pedals I have on my board that I would not remove, oddly enough, 3 of them are fuzzes. And one is my 535Q Dunlop wah.
Well, let's start with that one.
It's a great pedal. I mean, there are like guys who make optimum awesome wahs, but unfortunately they kind of only do that one thing. I wanted to be able to have the ability to be flexible with a wah. So with the Q control, and it also has the boost section in it. It's just a very flexible, very cool wah, and so I love it. So it's the one that I always have on my boards.
You said with the Q control. What's the Q control?
That adjusts the point, the midpoint. So
Okay.
like when you have a wah, sometimes it hits fast.
Yeah.
Or sometimes your sweep is like really nice and thorough through it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the Q control adjusts for, and it also has like selecting in terms of what kind of cap, whether you want more bright, more lower. So it's just very flexible wah. I like it, and Dunlop makes really good stuff, and I'm happy with it.
Nice.
The other 3 things are some of my favorite fuzz pedals of the last year.
Okay, one at a time now.
Yep. The very first thing, my friend Leon at Pelican Noise Works makes this fuzz pedal. It's called the Pelotar.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you were to look at this pedal, the first thing you would think is clone, because it looks like a clone of a clone. It has the same knobs. It's gold. It has some weird mythical beast on the front of it. But it is nothing like a clone. It's a fuzz. And basically, it's a big muff and a JFET type fuzz. And the things that you have on gain, treble, and output, gain basically is a switch between one or the other fuzzes. So it doesn't act like a gain, it just changes. So it's made to look like what it's not. The treble changes the treble or bass depending on where you have that channel, that pedal. So let's say you have on the big muff side. If you turn it clockwise, it gets bassier. Now if you put it on the FET fuzz, it gets treblier. So it's kind of weird how it works. And on the inside, there are 2 gain pots, so you can adjust the taste. It's just an awesome all around fuzz. My second, and this is probably my favorite fuzz of right now. There's a guy up in Canada. He's in Quebec, and his name's Mark Gagon, and he is making 0.1-to-1 copies of some of the best and rarest fuzzes around. and I just picked up his Grizzly Fuzz, which is exact copy of a Burns Buzz Around Fuzz. And this thing is a monster. I love it. And I'm a fuzzaholic, so you can never have too much fuzz. And I could probably just have this fuzz on my pedal board and be happy. And then my last one is from my buddy Andy Green down in Florida. He makes this fuzz. It's called a His Fuzz, and it's basically his interpretation of a fuzz face. But it's really super nice because, first of all, it has germaniums in it. The circuit's tweaked, so you don't get all that nastiness what you do with germaniums, where if it's too hot, it flubs. If it's too cold, it's icy. The way the circuit's laid out in this, it keeps it very consistent. So you get the wonderful things about germanium with a lot of the less things that you don't like about it. And it's just an all-around killer fuzz. So basically, gentlemen, 3 fuzzes and a wah. Do you need anything more than that?
That's awesome.
I mean, I know Andy Green, actually. He sends me pickup work to do for him. So yeah, Andy Green's a good dude.
Awesome dude. Awesome dude.
Good dude.
That's cool, man. Do you stack those fuzzes at all?
I won't do all 3.
Yeah, well, it just sounds like absolute.
Well, I mean, I don't want to lose my hearing or anything else, but I will stack up 2 because you can get a nice thick fuzz if you put 2 fuzzes together, so you can kind of get something that's still articulate but has a nice beef to it. So I mean, just lots of cool things you can do.
I like to throw a little OD in front of a fuzz now and again.
Yep.
Yeah.
And oddly enough, a Canaglia after a fuzz, it's just a thing to behold. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing. So if you ever have a fuzz and you ever have a Canaglia, put them together. You'll have a marriage made in heaven or in hell, depending on where you want to be.
A delicious dessert or something. Yeah.
Yes.
It's a fuzzy Canaglia.
Canaglia.
All right. Cool, man. Well, thanks. Well, let's get on with it. So, Sean, I mean, I've seen your pedal, specifically the Canaglia, in the slipstream of the interwebs for some time now. I've always looked at it and said, well, that's different, which is a good thing. As we were discussing earlier, it also looks like something that, how do I say this? It's like it might be too good for me. When I saw it,
I get that a lot.
And I was like, I got to find out more about this thing. So we got to talking, and you are here. And I will say, first thing, before anything else can be said, if you listen to the demos, everybody out there, if you're listening to the demos on YouTube, even with the best stereo or headphones or whatever you're listening to on it, this thing absolutely blew us away. I mean,
thank you.
There is no possible way you can truly understand what this thing does in a demo. It's one of the only ones that I can honestly say, like, there's not the only way to actually understand this is to actually play it in person. It was pretty astounding.
Thank you very much.
I would agree. I mean,
and that's the end of the interview.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
No, not only is it's pretty to look at, I mean, and it's unusual having the wood box with a flame maple top, which is very cool.
Yeah.
But more importantly is how it sounds. And I was kind of shocked when we opened up the back, and there's really not circuitry wise.
I mean,
not
that's
a
all
lot to it.
point-to-point wiring.
It's beautifully wired, so it's inside and out, a beautiful pedal, and sounds great.
You've managed to do something specifically. We only have this one pedal in front of us, and this is sort of your flagship, right?
Yes, that's our flagship.
Yeah, you're able to make something that is beautiful, make something that is unique, make something that everybody who is super interested in the guts, you actually, on top of all that, have created something that does feel unique, though you wouldn't necessarily know it, again, without playing around with it, because at face value, it's, it's an overdrive or a boost, or it's a boost overdrive. I looked into a lot of the videos that are out there, and I think one of the terms that was coined, it's not a tone shaper, but a gain.
It's a gain shaper.
Gain shaper, yeah. And I was like, oh, that's the
TM,
thing.
TM.
Gain shaper, TM. Yeah, you better get on that, son. And that, after hearing it, and then after hearing that description, it like all crystallized. So we're going to talk a lot about that right now, but we also want to find out sort of your, like how you got into this, what your backstory is. Since we're discussing the pedal at the moment, do you want to just kind of tell us a little bit more about what we're talking about? Like, let's go through this pedal.
Yeah, sure. The concept kind of was a thought experiment where I had this circuit, and you are right, Todd. It's I wouldn't say minimalistic, but it's simple, and it's simple on purpose. But I had the circuit, and I thought, well, I know a guy who did this, and I knew a guy who did this, and why can't you make a wooden enclosure? And there's other people who have done it before, but I had never seen it in a production type situation. So I was lucky enough to have a friend out in California who had a CNC machine, and I had the concept and the look and everything, and he came up with the idea about using the CNC and using the bracing on the inside. There's a video, I don't know if you saw it, where I literally run my car over it and like park it on top of the box. No. I got tired of people saying, it's a wood box, I will break it. And I'm like, no, you're not going to. Well, I'm not going to say no, because if you tell anybody they're not going to do something, it'll be done. Yeah. But so we came up with the concept, and it was something that I was going to just do for fun. Like, I'll throw these out there, and then eventually I'll take this really cool circuit that I've been playing with, which it's not quite like anything out there. The concepts are kind of like some other things. It's just kind of what I'm doing with it. And I thought, well, I'll just put it in a metal box or whatever down the road. And it kind of one of those things where it slaps you in the head and they're like, duh. No, leave it in a wooden box. People are talking about it. People want to play it. And so we kind of went from something that was simple to begin with, and then we went whole hog and started doing the figured tops and stuff. And we can do anything from a billet of maple or hickory to anything to like, AAA flame top. The concept I wanted to do with it is that, and you did say something that I get a lot of. It's like, well, I'm afraid to step on it. But, I throw 6 coats of lacquer on that thing. And I tell people, are you afraid to take that $5,000 PRS out and play it? Well, obviously not, because you do. And the last time I checked, when I turn a pedal on, I'm not like trying to step on everything but the switches. So the switch is pretty much the thing you step on. Yeah. But it's really rugged. And we just wanted to do something that was unique and fun. I mean, it really came out as a thought experiment. This will be fun. This will be a cool idea.
How did you get there, though? I mean, I never would have thought to use a maple box for a pedal. How did you get there?
Well, maple was an easy choice because I wanted to use hardwoods, and I knew right away that I did not want to use exotics. For one of the reasons why Todd just mentioned. There's lots of issues with trying to source wood, and a lot of the exotics are really tough to work with. I mean, I don't know if you guys ever seen bloodwood before. Yes. But I had a piece and I was going to do something with this, and no, it'll chew up your bits. So we said, you know what, we'll do walnut, we'll do hickory, we'll do maple, and that's pretty much what we're sticking with. And we will do cherry too as well. But we wanted it to be simple in terms of choice. I mean, the only thing we really differ on is whether you have a figured top, or what kind of figured top you want. If you want tiger, if you want flame, you want quilted, bird's eye, and like everything in between. So our idea was to just do something really fun, really unique, and try to do it at a price point that didn't scare people away. And, it took us a while, but I think we got there finally.
You just mentioned price. When I first saw this, I was like, whoa. That's dang near the $300 mark right there for a pedal. Whew. Right? And then I heard it. And I was like, oh, okay. I completely understand now. I 100% get why would want this, number one, and why you would say, absolutely, take my money.
Well, yeah, and it's like one of those things where are you going to find a truly point-to-point, hardwired pedal in a exquisite enclosure that sounds as great as it does for $279?
Yeah. And
then if you go with the standard, you're basically talking $219. That is compete with any OD that's out there right now.
Oh yeah.
So it's, we're not too far off the mark. And when we first started, we had our price a little bit up, and and at the time I thought this is quite reasonable. But there's some things we had to fight through, and we still do to this day. I mean, there's stigmatized with the fact that it's wood. And then we're stigmatized with the fact that, well, it's beautiful and I don't want to take it on the road, or I don't want to do that. And these are all legitimate concerns, but, through education and trying to tell people, and, it's like, this is a tool. This is something you take out, and just because it's beautiful and, you're not going to hurt it. And I don't know about you guys, but I kind of like when my really cool guitar, after about 15, 20 years, kind of gets checked a little bit, and you kind of get that real sort of,
the wear.
Wear on it and stuff. But
well, you said it well. You said it's a tool. And I think when we're talking about this, the very first things that we discuss are how it looks, the appointments. You've got like some of the best knobs out there on that thing. They're heavy duty
chrome washers,
big thick chrome washers, heavy duty aluminum knobs, knurled aluminum knobs. I mean, every part on there is top notch. Now, if you're just looking at it for that reason, you could say, I just need it to make this noise. I don't need all this other stuff. But you're missing the point, because the aesthetic is instantly forgettable once you hear it. And that's saying something, because this is a very memorable pedal to look at. It's a weird mindset thing you have to kind of get past, because most pedals you think are a tool, a utility. I click on it, it makes my guitar sound like this. With this, you look at it instantly in a slightly different way. You said that it was a classic kind of like simplistic design. And I used to work on vintage Porsches and import and European imports from the 60s and stuff. Cool. And the minute I pulled this thing out of the box, I was like, "Whoa!" It reminded me of some of those cars that I worked on. Everything's perfect on here. Everything makes sense. It's not overly indulgent. All the parts are made out of really quality stuff. You want to touch it all. And it's going to go fast. That's the cool part. So, really quick, I think the most obvious thing.
Yeah, we were kind of wondering where the name came from.
Okay, the name is kind of funny. I have a friend. His father is from Cyprus, and they make all these really great foods. They make goat cheese, and it's, going to their house is like, I'll go over there and I'll come home and I have to take a nap because all the great food they make. Well, me and him were talking, and I said, I've been really wanting to do like dried meats. I was on my food television, jag, and I was like, oh, I'm going to make meats, and you can do this, and I'll do that. And I was trying to think up a kind of a fancy name, and I thought, well, do that opposite. Come up with a name that people go, what? So Canaglia in Sicilian is rogue or scoundrel.
Oh,
So
that's cool.
I just thought it was kind of a neat play on that. Well, regardless, after you drink the beer and you go home, you forget the idea, So like, well, I'm not going to make meats. So when I've always had the name in my head because of that, and I thought, I just really like that name, and it was funny. I remember when the Uberschall came out, and I always thought that was a cool name for that amplifier because it's like you wouldn't expect it. You would think the Dominator or this guy comes out, and he's like Uberschall. I'm like, okay, I get that. I get what he's trying to do with that, and that's what I kind of brought to using that on that pedal. Mm-hmm. And I just think it fits it pretty well. I mean, if I would have put OD3, 2, it wouldn't work. And like you said about the Porsche stuff, it kind of lends itself to that sports car type mentality with that name. And I just thought it was a great fit. And I probably will never do anything like that again because I swear I had people tell me every day, how do you pronounce that? And like, just instead of saying the G, stick your tongue on the top of your roof and go, Canaglia.
I feel you on that, man. I live in a town called Pataskala.
Oh, God.
So try to get on the phone and order things and tell people where you live, and they always ask you to spell it out, so I just automatically do.
Yeah.
Pataskala.
I feel your pain, man.
Well, that's cool.
But I'm okay with it. I mean, because it's everything about that pedal. I was just trying to get noticed because actually my start was I went to school in Minnesota, and I went to a tech school, and I actually went to school for music electronics.
Really?
Yeah, and it was the Red Wing Technical College. I think it's Winona State College now.
Oh, yeah.
They have, or they still have, a brass instrument repair. They have string instrument repair. They have a Lutherie program. And they also had an EMT program, was the electronic music technology program. And I knew that I kind of always wanted to do something like that. And I wasn't under any illusion that I wanted to be an engineer or anything like that. So I thought I will get the knowledge that I need here, which is always base knowledge, and then use that and then gain from that. And so I started working. My specialty was tube amps. I actually worked at Naylor Amplification for quite a while. I worked at Gytron as well in the 90s, and as well as doing repairs for like the last 20 years on and off on my private time and stuff. And so that point-to-point you're seeing, that kind of came from my background as a tube amplifier maker. Mm-hmm. And I didn't see a lot of that. I mean, you see a lot of that more over across the pond. Mm-hmm. A lot of the English guys do that. And I just thought no one was doing it with turrets, which I think personally are a lot cleaner than doing eyelets or doing tag boards. Mm-hmm. So it's just a culmination of all these little things that I've been dealing with or working with, and on top of the circuit, which I kind of had in the back of my mind for quite a while. And I just kind of got lucky and threw a dart, and I got lucky. And
this does not feel like you threw a dart at anything. This feels very calculated.
Well, I threw a dart at the right time. Okay. I know I can hit a bullseye, but no one's going to care. Like I'll wait.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really appreciate the thoughts and what you're saying about it. When I came up with the concept of the Canaglia, I did not want to do an op amp overdrive.
Yeah.
And not that I have a problem with op amp overdrives. There's some really super great ones out there. But my big problem was for people who had non-master, vintage, or newer amplifiers that if you got them past 3 o'clock would really sound really great, but really, really piss off your neighbors.
Yeah.
And I wanted that guy who had a JCM 800, or the guy who had a Fender Deluxe Reverb or whatever, and make essentially a 3-channel amp for them.
That's
so
exactly what we said as soon as we plugged it in.
Yep.
You get your original amp channel.
Yep.
You click on the on and off, and then you got your rhythm or whatever you want to do with that. And then with the gain, you can turn that to choice on whether you just want a little bit of a bump or you really want to hit it hot. And that's what it's there. That's what that pedal is for. It's not for changing tone. It's not for getting, the really cool, sag or anything like that. It's supposed to take the signal from your guitar, amplify it, add a little bit of hair to it, and then hit the front end of your amp. So the Canaglia is kind of between a boost and an overdrive.
Yep.
And that's kind of what I made it for. That's why there's no tone knobs on it.
Yeah.
I think, and this is just my personal opinion, on some pedals it's fine, but tone stacks as a general rule on most things just really eat up signal.
Oh.
And I didn't want to throw a tone stack in that. So I kind of tried to make it as neutral as possible. I think it favors strats and tells more it does, humbuckers. But I got an Ibanez that I play through it, and it can do something really cool that a lot of pedals don't do. Is when you got that up and you're really smacking the front end of that amplifier, you have that small box amp sag. When you turn up a 15-watt amp, and you can just hear it break up just a little bit, but it starts going in that fuzzy, but not quite sag. And I think it's really awesome with pickups like that.
Yeah.
So we just wanted to make something simple, something that sounded good, something that looked good, something that was built well. And when you have something like that, you can call it your own, because you can get a mass marketed pedal and Joe Blow has the exact same thing down the street.
Yeah.
But every Canaglia is different, every one, with the exception of the circuitry.
Well, that adds to the whole special thing. It's that's why you can't just look at it as this is a pedal that does this. It's all of those extra things, but it's a one-off, handmade. Do anything you can to get a hold of this pedal, because Tony and I, when we first plugged it in, I plugged it into my house, and I was immediately like, guys, you and we live not too far away, but we got to drive all the stuff that we get around to make sure that we all try it out. And I'm just going to run you through what we're playing it on. So I first ran it through, I have one of Dave Harris's Tube Amp Factory R14s. It's a 14-watt with a reverb on it, and out of a dual vintage 30 cab. I played my Gibson Les Paul Special, double cutaway, sweet, and my Hagstrom Viking. I was doing this. I was like, oh my God. I ran over to Tony's.
Yeah, what did we? Oh, we used my the Vox AC15 hand wired.
Yep, hand wired AC15, and we played a
Jaguar.
Yep,
and the Rickenbacker.
Right. What model Rick was that?
That was the 650.
The 650. And then we plugged it into the Maserati, the Dr. Z Maserati.
Cool amp.
I'm telling you, that place was smoking. There was flames coming out of the windows, man. When I came in, people who know me well, I'm very passionate about the things that I talk about, and I get really excited over the littlest of things. So when I came in, I'm like, oh my gosh, you're not gonna believe this pedal, right? And he's like, giving me the yeah, okay, sure. Oh, young lad. Right? And then we plugged in. I said, all right, I'm going to start dialing these knobs in. I started everything at 0 and then just started to work my way up. His eyes turned into saucers real quick.
No, it really, the thing that really impressed me is it felt like you're going into an amp. I mean, it's very reactive to how you play,
Sure.
how hard you hit the strings. And as you described it, it basically gives you 2 extra channels for your amp.
Yeah.
Exactly. That to me is
It quadrupled the power in nothing flat. I mean,
Yeah.
it was incredible.
Yeah, it almost has about a 30 dB gain on it.
Yeah. So then after rattling the roof at Tony's place, I took it over to Jared's, and who also met me with, all right, let's plug this pedal in, see
Right.
what blah, 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 blah. And we ran that out of his Buddha
30 watt.
30 watt, ginormous head, purple vinyl on it. And then he has a brand new vintage Marshall cab that he's got his old, what are the speakers you have in that?
Right now, those are just Heritage 30s, the made in England ones. It's a mid 70s cab.
Yep. And then we played.
Oh, like the pre-rollers kind of like type deal?
No, they're new, but they're made in England. They're supposed to be like those. And they sound a little similar, but into a 70s cab.
Yeah.
And,
Very cool.
They can handle that amp, so I just have that plugged in for now. But yeah, when Todd turned that on, and then Todd said, "Now just be patient and wait." Then he had things turned up, and he turned it on. I'm like, "Wow, that really just sounds like another channel in my amp. That's freaking awesome."
Yeah.
Just totally awesome. And I had my overdrive on the amp itself actually turned down.
Yeah, we were toggling back and forth, just kind of testing it. The sort of like the, as you said, it's got hair on it, and it's like we're testing sort of like the different kinds of hair. And I think maybe the best way to describe it is that at least on the Buddha, it was a little bit more finer hair, more compression, a lot more compression, and then yours was like boar hair.
Like it opened it up.
Like finely combed boar hair.
Yeah.
And it was just like, damn, this thing is smoking. He's like, oh, I'm going to play it out of my Strat. Now, everybody knows me. He's like, ugh, right, I'm not a Strat guy. And I was like, man, get something with some meat. But you got these big amps. Let's juice this thing. It really cooked. And then I said, all right, just let's try it with the was it the Tele Deluxe? Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got the Tele Deluxe with the wide ranges in there, and oof,
Yeah.
blammo.
Blow you away.
By this point, we like the pedal. I think I told both you guys. I said it's like there's a V8 engine in this thing.
I gotta get a couple of these, man.
Yeah. So can you walk us through the controls real quick?
Sure, no problem. The pre and the post work like you would think. The pre there's essentially 2 circuits, one running into another. The pre is basically the volume out of the first circuit. So essentially it's a preamp type gain adjustment. And the post is essentially the last volume adjustment before it hits out.
Mm-hmm.
So those 2 are always on and they always work together. And depending on if you do less post and more pre, you'll get a little bit more compression, not nearly as barky, and it gets a little gainier.
Mm-hmm.
What I love to do is to take the pre and run it about 11 o'clock and take the post and run that about 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
To me, it just totally wakes up an amplifier.
Mm-hmm.
And the gain is a neat little trick that I figured out. Essentially, what the gain is, it's a voltage attenuator. So essentially, when you apply that switch, you are switching in a potentiometer in that circuit. And what you do is basically you are starving or opening up that voltage to that initial circuit for the pre and the post. So doing that will change the sound a little depending on where you have it, which is kind of neat because when you kind of take it about 3 or 4 o'clock, you really can get a little bit of sag there, and you're like, okay, this is really cool. This is perfect for leads. This is what I need. And or if you want to, like, let's say I'm playing a part that's a little bit more jangly, on the rhythm, but the chorus is coming up, and I just want a little bit more hair on that to kind of really come in. You can use it in that capacity as well. But essentially, it's kind of like it's an additive to your great amp that you already like. I mean, I've always told people, it's like you went and bought this amp for $1,000 or $2,000. The last thing I want to do is poop on it. Right. It's like I just want your amp as much as possible to do what it does. It's just kind of a handicap. It helps the amp do what it needs to do without having to do major modifications, without having to sacrifice tone or get too muddy or get too bright. Like I said, the Canaglia is kind of voiced neutral. I despise the word transparent because nothing is transparent. I'm okay for terminology. I just dislike that one a lot. But it's neutral. I mean, it's not bass heavy. It's not treble heavy. And I have it tuned at, for the most part, as much a wide range of pickups you can put through it. It doesn't affect it too much. But yeah, it's basically, I want to adjust my gain. I want to be able to adjust my gain 2 ways. That's the deal. That's the simplicity behind the Canaglia.
It's really a supercharger.
Yeah,
it's not even.
I would say that.
Even calling it an overdrive is doesn't really do it justice. Because it just.
Well, thank you.
It's a gain changer.
Yeah.
But I did have a question. Now that I understand how the gain works, that it's actually a kind of a voltage regulator, if you want to call it that. Is there much difference if you run it at 9 volts or 18 volts? I noticed that you can go into the back, either 9 to 18.
Yes, definitely. If you run that at 18, you're going to get a lot higher headroom. So, your overall dB doesn't change that much. It's just the point in where you start getting breakup changes. So let's say I really love the gain of my amp. I just need it to go up a little louder. That's when it's a good, idea to use the 18 volts. Okay. So you can kind of use it more along the lines of a boost, but never fear. If you turn that up, you will make small children cry.
Yes, and you will make grown men weep with joy.
Yes.
Yeah, we got it up pretty loud in all 3 homes, I believe, and that was something to hear. You said something earlier that you wanted to be able to achieve that, what does your amp sound like when it's totally turned up, broken up? Most of us don't get the opportunity to do that unless we're actually on stage. And even then, we're usually mic'd. So you don't want to be blasting it out at full bore. This does an excellent job of giving you the tangible feeling of a roaring amplifier.
Yeah, without ear bleed levels.
Exactly. Unless you want them, because they're there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyways, cool, man. Well, I really appreciate you sending us this pedal. We're thrilled to play with it. I can't wait to try out other ones. And when you have the Chameleon come out, I think we should have you back on, and we can talk about that.
When the Chameleon comes out, I will send one to you, as well as our updated Cherry Box, and awesome. You guys can play with it, and you could find all the rabbit hole that's involved with the Cherry Box.
Hey, I love fuzz too, man. So I'm really excited to try that one. So really quickly, why don't we head into our Would You Rather segment? Jared?
Would you rather?
What? Wait, you changed it up.
Change is good. And it's imminent.
Okay, excellent. Wow, look at
Change is
it.
imminent.
Look at the big brain on Brandon.
Brandon has brains.
Yeah.
Would you rather have a week's worth of jazz guitar lessons or a week's worth of country guitar lessons? Country stuff.
Ooh.
Chicken picking, all that kind of good stuff.
That's really hard because I don't want to sound like John Schofield. I don't think many people want to sound like John Schofield, so I'll pass on the jazz. Country, you know, at first thought you would think, oh, I don't want to sound like that pop country stuff. But,
Right.
you know, if I could sit down with Brad Paisley
Oh, man.
for a week and have him show me licks or Ricky Skate, any of those guys, so you can incorporate a lot of that stuff in rock playing. So, yeah, I'd have to go with the country, I think.
Okay. Tony?
I guess between the two, I'd probably have to go with the country because country music has evolved into, dare I say, rock music.
Yeah.
And there's some killer players. You know, Paisley's a great guy. By the way, I can put you in touch with the guy that taught Brad how to play too. He's over in West Virginia, and still plays and still teaches. But yeah, there's been this transformation. I think most of the so-called guitar heroes really are on the country circuit side these days.
Yeah.
So
yeah, most of them are session guys too. I mean, they go out and they go do tours, but the hot guys for any kind of music, they're down in Nashville. You know, they're quiet and they play great. And yeah, it's, you know, an awe to hear some of those guys make the music they do.
Yeah. Especially when they get into the chicken picking stuff. I mean,
yeah,
good. I just so good.
Yeah, I see. You know, I've been to a couple of NAMM shows, and Johnny Highland plays all.
He's a monster.
I want to have him on the show. Johnny, if you are listening, we would love to have you on the show.
And you see his hands, and you just think there is no way.
No.
That guy with those bear paws
and
is going to play the stuff he plays. It's kind of like, you know, Danny Gatton when he used to do the trick with the washcloth on his hand, and he'd be cleaning the guitar, and you're like, that's amazing. Well, he does it with bear claws. I mean, it blows my mind.
And if anybody's seen him, you know, do any kind of interviews or anything, he genuinely seems like the nicest person on earth. Like,
yeah, very humble guy.
Like, wow. So yeah, hey, give us a ring-a-ding, baby. Jared, what do you got?
Well, I'm gonna have to go with jazz.
Okay.
Jazz is extremely difficult to learn. Because of that, I want to try to do it. It's difficult. I've never really understood the whole concept. So please teach me jazz. Give me a week's worth of jazz.
Okay.
You know, I know it's hard and it's weird. Hey, listen, man, I want to be able to play Christmas songs on the jazz guitar. You know, Christmas time. That's when
I love Christmas.
I think jazz guitar and Christmas are, you know, they go hand in hand.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's why
Joe Pass kind of jazz is pretty cool. I mean, I would like to learn a lot of that kind of stuff. So I don't know. I didn't think about that. You can learn some really pretty jazz chords.
And you can buy a really expensive guitar, jazz too.
Don't forget Wes Montgomery.
That's right.
Oh yeah.
Killer player.
Yeah.
Hey, he's all right.
He's all right.
I mean,
You can't play Johnny Clash.
he had a few things.
You can have Denny Kopp up in Catawba make me another jazz guitar too. So yeah, I'm gonna go with jazz this week for the Would You Rather. Todd.
Yes.
What would you rather, a week's worth of jazz or a week's worth of country?
Well, I'm gonna go with a week's worth of jazz too, because like I said, I love chicken picks and stuff, but I also know a man's got to know his limitations. But I like the older jazz playing. I really like sort of ragtimey guitar. I got turned on that when I saw the Sweet and Lowdown, you know, the sort of now that's getting into Django and gypsy jazz and stuff. But that was the precursor for more of the modern jazz that we are familiar with. I think about Chet Atkins, and he's got jazz phrasings in there mixed with country. So I would want to go down that route. 2 jazz, 2 country.
It's pretty even. Would you rather this week, man?
Yep.
It is the most even.
Would you rather?
All right, Sean Wright. Tell us where people can get your stuff.
You can find us on the interwebs. We are on Instagram. We are on Facebook. You can get us at www.lollygaggerfx.com. And we are willing to work with you, and we are willing to make your dreams come true. No, I mean, we like to work with everybody. And, I mean, we do some custom stuff. And to me, the whole process is just fun. I mean, really, you're like, who else gets to do this crazy stuff? I mean,
for sure.
So we definitely take it as a, especially when you get things that are a challenge. You're like, ugh, why did I say yes to this? But then when you get it done, you feel really good about it. And you also know that you learned a new skill or did something different. Because I was never a woodworker. I mean, this stuff kind of happened to me, and I had to learn all this stuff overnight, and I have no aptitude for many things. And so it's like, okay, well, get on that horse or fall off. One of the two, you got to figure it out. So
yeah.
But we love it, and we just enjoy doing the process, and we like making people happy. I mean, you can't imagine how it makes me feel that you guys are excited about the pedal. From all different facets, the sound, the look. That's what we want to impart on people. We want people to be inspired. It's like when you pick up a guitar, it's not tuned any different than any other guitar, but for whatever reason you picked it up and it feels, and you just learned a new lick, or you just played a song you hadn't heard in a long time. We want to try to do that with the Canaglia. We want to inspire people to do really neat things.
Your guitar will thank you.
That's right.
That's what you need. TM, circle R.
Right. TM.
You need that.
/
You can have that. I gift that.
Wow.
All right. Well, we want to thank our executive producers. That would be Tom Barazin and Martin Cliff at this point, for your support of our podcast.
Thank you.
If you would like to become an executive producer, head on over to patreon.com/the Guitar Knobs to find out how.
That's right.
Well, that's the end of the show, everybody. Sean, thanks for being on, buddy. We really appreciate you taking your time, sharing it with us, and sharing the knowledge of your excellent product, and just getting to know you a little bit. And we hope that everybody takes some time to go find you out on the interwebs, on Instagram and elsewhere. Yeah, you're an official knob now, so that's cool.
Hey, thank you. I had a great time, gentlemen, and big fan of the show, and thanks for having me on, guys.
You bet.
Yeah.
Only one thing left to do.
That's right. Subscribe.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I got stuck real quick because I was trying to read something.
I'm also pleased.
Well, that's it for these knobs. Please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/the Guitar Knobs. Visit our website at theguitarknobs.com for all of our past episodes, 4 on the Floor blog, and other good stuff. You can connect with us on social too at our Facebook page, and share your gear and stories on our Facebook group. Also, be sure to check out our Instagram at Guitar Knobs. Catch you next time.